We're live? Hey, Happy New Year to everyone who's part of the Cellercise family. And we are growing. I just want to wish you all a great new year. Hoping, we're all kind of talking about goals, maybe and objectives. And one of the things that I've taught for several years is you have to have the vision first. So get hold of a vision. If you don't have a vision yet of where you want to go in your own personal health and fitness, it's important we get the vision, hold on to the vision, nurture the vision with prayer, meditation, affirmation, proclamation, declaration. See that vision, hold on to it. It will create a desire. The desire will grow into a passion, and the passion will compel you to action. It's not hard. It starts with just little steps. It starts with the vision. So consider getting a vision. If we don't have a vision, then we're kind of like a ship without a rudder. We don't have a real strong sense of direction. Chances are we'll be in the same place next year as we are this year. And many of us want to change that. So this is a principle that we can do in every area of our life, in our relationships, in our work environment, as well as in our health and fitness. So, and we're all improving. We're all here to help support each other. One of the things I talked about, and many of you have heard me say it, is if you draw a line down the middle of a page or a whiteboard, and on the right-hand side of the line, you have health. And on the left-hand side of the line, you have illness. In our culture today, many of us have been taught or have bought into the idea that health is simply an absence of illness. And we live on the line. We get sick, we might cross over to the left a little bit. We'll take a shot of pill or some kind of treatment to get back to the line. And there's some people that are chronically sick. They're way to the left of the line. And they're constantly trying to get as close to the line as they can. But there's a few who are way to the right of the line. They enjoy a quality of life, energy, performance, activity, health, vitality that many people just living on the line never experience. And our objective as part of the Cellercise family is to help people understand we have a greater health potential. It's not that hard. We think we have to work so hard at it. It's simple little steps that make the big difference. And these course changes, these little changes that we make over time create a big effect. And so in your health and fitness, remember, we don't fight against that which is wrong. We're promoting that which is right. That's what creates desire and passion and drive, not anxiety, frustration, and despair. We want to focus on the things that are good and that we can achieve. We've had some great testimonials. We've made a difference in the lives of a great many people. If you like this Facebook Live session, please consider sharing it with others. We want to see the Cellercise family grow. We want to get the message out to the public. If there's any value, you feel good about what we have to say, you feel good about our program and our objective, then please, we really appreciate all of you who are sharing it and making a difference in the lives of other people. So Justice is here. He's on the back of the, we might want to say, do we have a thumbs up? Make sure everybody can hear this and is feeling good. Because with electronics, we don't always know, but if we can get a thumbs up that everybody can hear, I really appreciate that. Justice, let me know. I appreciate that too. We're going to read some customer reviews. Testimonials are great. We're going to answer questions. If you have a question, please enter that into our screen, and Justice will be happy to answer that or pass that on to me. Okay, testimonials. Louise writes, I just wanted to take a moment to express how grateful I am for your inspiration and dedication to the rebounding community. Your passion, knowledge, and energy have been a guiding light for me on my journey, and I truly value and appreciate you. Louise, thank you for sharing. We appreciate you, and it does make a difference. Thank you. Wishing you a wonderful day filled with love, joy, and gratitude. Right back at you. Anthony writes, I love my Cellerciser. I bought 3 new ones for myself, sister, mom, and dad. Also, I enjoy my bouncing journey to fitness with the app, or even just doing the baby bounces and using it as a work break. Keep the good work up and all the educational videos. I feel they really help people a lot. P.S. 55 is just around the corner for me, and I'm very healthy. Compared to my out-of-shape 40-year-old self, I'm a new man. And that's what we want. Thank you. Thanks, Anthony, and thanks for all of you who are experiencing those changes and willing to share them. Carrie writes, my first introduction to the rebounder world was with the jump sport. I used it for a couple years, and then I randomly found Dave Hall on YouTube, and I'm so thankful I did. Once I researched his rebounder, his Cellercise rebounder, and the technology behind it, I just knew I had to try it. There is, all capitalized, there's no comparison to the bounce of a bungee rebounder and the patented spring coil that the Cellerciser has. After my first time using it, I could tell immediately the bounce was completely different than my bungee rebounder, and for me, much, much, much more comfortable and enjoyable! Exclamation points. Dave is extremely honest, and he is more than willing to answer any and all questions himself. He is a guy who will answer the phone when you call. I was shocked when he answered, but he believes so deeply in the effectiveness of his product that he is more than eager to help out in any way he can. Love, love, love my Cellerciser, and I honestly look forward to using it daily. Thanks, Dave Hall, for this amazing rebounder! Exclamation points. Carrie, wow, that was special. That's the first time I've read that. That was really nice. I appreciate that. I want to comment a little bit on what she said. The rebound industry has taken off, and there's no question about that. I started 35 years ago. It was dead. As you know, I've traveled around the country, the world, been on television, written about in books, magazines, articles. The whole purpose was to help expound the benefits of what the Cellerciser had to offer. In the process, as you see, there's a lot more units out there on the market, and I hear people calling up and complaining every day now. The truth is getting out there. People are beginning to recognize what works and what doesn't work, and it's important that we understand that. And one of the reasons I want to comment on this is so, again, we can share this with other people before they make a decision that they might regret. Okay, so when I began with the Cellercise industry, virtually every unit on the market used these little tube springs. This is what is actually 1995, Dr. Morton Walker warned doctors avoid these. The jarring effect was the same as landing on the ground. That jarring effect is very damaging. So I introduced a tapered spring design, and that was great. It allowed the body to decelerate and accelerate, but people started coming out with tapered spring designs, and the steel wasn't the same, and they got too soft, and much like a lot of the bungee cord units today, guys, if they're too soft, you don't get enough resistance. How do you build, just reason with me for a moment, how do you build up a muscle or bone? Not by bouncing up and down unless there's resistance. If you don't have resistance, enough resistance, then the body, the cells are not going to strengthen their membrane with more protein. All you're going to be doing is bouncing up and down, and over time that can create compaction, more stress on the joints, on the knees and the back, and I hear people complaining about that all the time. But the Cellerciser is different. With the Cellerciser, when you come down, you stop. Now, it's not abrupt. There is absolutely no comparison to bouncing up and down on the ground and then bouncing up and down on a Cellerciser. Can you just hit the red? Thank you. Forgot to turn off my phone. So when you're bouncing up and down on the Cellerciser, you decelerate and accelerate. You don't stop abruptly. Our patented technology behind the spring design, got rigid before it takes some rigid up all the way to the center. You need more rigid, you more higher, it automatically get up to the hydrogen. So when you fit all 5 people to run around, you're not changing anything. You'll utilize and bring turn your head. Probably, I'll get that if I might. No, go on. Really? Oh. Okay. Hold on. This is too important. So I'm going to have some batteries and are you sure? Really? It's a connection? Okay. I'll be right. I'm going to grab some batteries anyway. Now you hear me fine? Really? Okay, because I see it going in and out. Huh. Can you hear me all right now? All right, we'll try. But it sounds like we need to get a new mic. Something must have happened with this one. So, sorry about that, but I expect something to go off, so I'm not really disappointed. Okay, if it stops working again, please let me know, okay? All right, good, good. Okay, so bottom line, what I'm talking about is we have to have resistance. Can't be too soft. We have to have resistance to move the lymph fluid, to have good support so the feet don't pronate, so we feel secure on the unit, and we get benefits. The Cellerciser does that. It's got a 30-year reputation. I've been doing it for 35 years. It works. I'm enjoying a quality of life I want everybody my age to be able to enjoy. And that's part of the objective. We have a greater health potential. So thank you. Thanks for your patience. Welcome to the program again. Cindy writes, I use mine every day. Great for lymphatic movement. I am pushing 70. I would recommend it. Tom, for me, Cellercising has become more of a preventative than a treatment. Regular, consistent, daily rebounding for 10 to 15 minutes is foundational. Then, if I feel achy or cold that may be coming on, I rebound for an additional 5 to 10 minutes. Overdo it in the yard, bounce back by finishing with a few minutes of Cellercising, followed by lots of water. It works wonders at preventing any dis-ease. They don't call a health bounce. They don't call it a health bounce for no reason. Thank you, Tom. And you're right. We're going to talk more about that health bounce today because I'm going to show you some variations of it, why it's so important, and why we work too hard sometimes at it. We don't have to. You don't see, and I've shared this before, but I understand. We've been taught to believe you have to tear down to build up, or you got to really work hard to get the benefits. Guys, I don't work that hard on it. I never have. I do routines and programs, but I play on it. It works on me, and we cover the basics. That's it. So this idea of you have to tear down to build up is, I think it's a problem. We do it in relationships. We do it in how we approach, life in general in our society today. We want to promote that which is right. We don't need to fight against that which is wrong. We want to build upon that which is weak. And that's physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Just take the little steps. They accumulate. When I first started Cellercising, I get it. Because as people began saying, what are you doing? And I was excited and enthusiastic because as you've heard me say in the past. My wife asked me if I was lifting weights within a month because my arms looked bigger. And I said, no. And I'd lost a belt notch. And I'm like, no, I'm just playing on this before I go to work. After the first month, it caught my attention. 6 months later, everybody's saying, what are you doing? And so I'm sharing it with them with a lot of enthusiasm. I would wake up at night, not exactly panicked, but anxious, because I hadn't worked hard at it. And so I'd go late at night, I'd get on the Cellerciser because now people wanted to hear me. And I'm like, well, I gotta make sure I don't lose it. I haven't worked hard. It's been too easy, which it was. And so I'd get on the Cellerciser at night and I'd do my kick outs and I'm like, oh boy. And kick side to side. And it took me a couple years probably before I realized I don't have to work that hard at it. Just continue to do what I've been doing. And it worked. We have one of our Cellercise family members, Rachel. She's wonderful, very supportive, very loyal. She called me up and she said, and she'd been on it for a few months now. And she says, David, this thing's incredible. I said, I know. And she said, no. I mean, it's really incredible. I said, tell me. She says, all I do on this is I turn on a show and I just do the baby bounce while I watch the show. I'm losing inches. I've got muscles tightening and toning up, popping out. I feel great. I'm not doing anything. And I thought about that and I said, let's think about that. You're putting 20, 30% more weight, a G-force, on every cell membrane, and you're doing it over 100 times a minute for 30 solid minutes. If you took typical exercise and you did arm curls and you put 20 or 30% more weight on this bicep, you did 100 times a minute and you did it for 30 solid minutes, of course you're going to feel it. I said, you're doing it on every single cell of your body. Every cell membrane is doing this with resistance on it. The cells don't want to rupture, so they're going to have to fortify their membrane. That's every muscle, bone, connective tissue, ligament, tendon, skin, collagen, fascia, all throughout the body. Do you see how this works? It's easy, but you have resistance, and that's critical. And we're going to be helping people understand that during the course of this year. All right, so Ann writes, nice, exclamation point. I just bought a second Cellerciser trifold so I can travel with it. I don't like being without it. And Dave made sure it would get shipped out immediately to arrive in time for me to take it on my trip. Not only is the Cellercise awesome, so is Dave Hall Cellercise. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Ann. I appreciate that. I haven't had a chance to read these today, so I'm grateful for all of you. I hope they're all going to be good. Teresa writes, great video. I feel so great and lighter after using my Cellerciser. Thank you, Dave, and your family. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks, Teresa. Gloria writes, I'm 73 and just recently purchased the trifold before Christmas and I use it every day. Excellent quality. I like the app that is available as well. I've noticed better balance and firmer legs. I don't have any more leg cramps at night. My upper body is firming as well. I just really feel good. And thank you, Gloria, for that. Okay, I'm going to save this one for last. But this is one of our new Cellercise members. And animals love it often. Not all animals do, but a lot of them do. And in fact, they'll often come and they'll just lay right on the mat. And while I'm bouncing with their weight on the spring cover, they bounce up and down. And I had a ferret that used to love doing that too. One more here, Lori writes, all the talk about the noise. It's no louder than a treadmill. It's a piece of equipment that you are working on. It's going to make noise. All right, Lori, I love it. Thank you much. And I want I want you to listen just how noisy this is. So it's no different than any of yours. And I teach you how to make it quiet on our website under our care and maintenance section. Okay, so we have some questions I wanted to read. Questions. Dave, can we order the green case for the triflow Cellerciser with the streamlined bar? Love the green color. Yes, feel free. Just give us a call. Raj says, I have to use my Cellerciser more. I have to exercise to get the blood sugar level down. I am in the pre-diabetic stage. Any stories out there about controlling them with Cellerciser as part of the exercise portion? Yes, Roger. Look up a website. It's called Cellerciser, so Cellerciser, diabetes help, H-E-L-P. So Cellerciserdiabeteshelp.com. And we threw a bunch of material and people, customers, testimonials, experiences that they had with Cellercising and their experience with it with diabetes. It's remarkable. Okay, Lisa Wright, so glad for the updates. The app, perhaps you can add a special section to the app that shows us with a very close-up view of how to oil or lube the springs and exactly at what locations in the springs that we can lube with 3-in-1 oil. I really enjoy my Cellerciser, but the noise is the springs is really getting irritating. Thank you, Lisa. And yes, I show you how to oil it. We have more than one video on this. And it's simply to start at the hinge where it folds in half. Can they see okay, Justice? And you pull the spring cover back. Just put a drop of oil on both ends of each spring. If you get oil on the coils, it's going to be very squeaky. So don't get the oil on the coils, just on the two ends. The first time I do it, I'll put a couple drops of oil on both ends and then bounce around a little bit and you can wipe up any excess. This is a fairly new unit. It's not very dirty, but just like yours, you can hear how quiet it is. All right. Patty writes, hi, my first time rebounding. An article in First for Women 2/27/23 mentioned your app. Oh, wow. Send it to me. I'd love to see that. Article was number 1, cause of bloat in women over 50. It was addressing gallbladder. Mine is unhappy. We just put a 1-2 fit rebounder together. I'm over 60. I tried a few bounces and think maybe I should wear shoes. Should I wear shoes? What do you recommend starting out for over 60, first time rebounding for gallbladder and health? I want to avoid the gallbladder surgery, 147 pounds, 5'2". I got the rebounder with a handle because my balance is not the best, needs work. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Patty. Great questions. So we start off, Cellerciser, hold on to the balance bar, which I have right there. Hold on to the bar, and as you gently move up and down, we warm up the tissue. We help to move fluid. There's a detox effect, so drink lots of water. Then it's the rocking side to side. And if you rock side to side and you add a little pumping action, great for the back, vertebral joints. The movement up and down is actually taking the colon, which comes up, across and down. It's like a little accordion. So you it can help improve digestion, elimination processes as well. And then the twist. And now you're massaging liver, kidney, spleen, gallbladder, pancreas, adrenals, lower back. So that those movements right there, very basic, very easy, extremely been helpful to many of us. All right. Yeah, and no shoes. I don't wear shoes. Okay, we have something special coming out in about a month, and shoes are restrictive. Barefoot, socks, soft-soled slippers, these are like wearing a second skin on the feet. They allow the foot to move to support your natural alignment without being restricted by a shoe. As the foot becomes more flexible, it can help avoid foot problems. It can help alleviate foot problems. They help improve the fascia and problems in the heel and the bones, because they all want to move to support our natural alignment, and shoes are more restrictive. So on a Cellerciser, I don't wear shoes. I don't encourage people to wear shoes unless you have a medical reason that you need to. But Melissa writes, it's Melissa Hauptmeyer. You blessed my life a few years back after a knee injury with a phone conversation leading me to purchase your beloved Cellerciser. I have a couple questions for you. My first one is, I keep hearing over and over that it's essential for a woman going through menopause like myself, as I'm 57, to lift weights. Okay, well, think about that. All right. Lift weight away from gravity or increase the weight of gravity. It doesn't matter to the cell membrane. So let's keep going. I know you've mentioned building strength on the Cellerciser. Can it truly replace weight lifting if you do the right exercises? Okay, let's think about that again. Do you know of any animal in the animal kingdom at all? Gorilla, elephant, dogs, cats, that lift weight to have strong bones, that do weight lifting? They don't, but they're very, very strong. Diet has a lot to do with it, but Cellercise creates and promotes osteoblastic activity, or the strengthening of the bones, because you weigh more at the bottom of the bounce. That's just the way it is. And you have enough resistance that resistance, as you put the energy into it, is going to continue to build up bone density and muscles. So it's the resistance that we need. You don't need to tear down to build up. Cellercise, you can do it every day, several times a day if you wish. I also know you've often mentioned how good Cellercising is for your digestion and elimination. Well, I recently read that rebounding is not good if you have acid reflux, as the bouncing can cause the stomach acid to travel up your esophagus. I've been working, okay, there's a sphincter muscle there. And if you're under doctor's care, see what your doctor says. But many times the Cellerciser helps to strengthen the sphincter muscle as you're moving up and down, so it helps to block that acid reflux activity. We just don't do a lot of high jumping, bouncing up and down. Gentle movements, and then see how it goes. Check with your doctor. I've been working on trying to heal my gut, but still will experience a feeling of food coming up at times. I call it regurg. Could be GERD, yeah. I would be devastated to think rebounding is causing it, or I shouldn't be doing it. It's not causing it. Cellercise too gentle. Jump roping on the ground could cause it, I suppose, because it's jarring and it's a lot harder. But Cellercise is gentle. It's don't do it on a full stomach if you have a weakness. I can do it just about any time. It doesn't bother me. But some people it may be better to wait after a meal. That's not to say that doing movements like this isn't good after a meal. This is great. This helps to improve digestion, elimination. You're not bouncing up and down like this. You're just gentle movements. This gentle movement can actually help with the whole digestive process. Very good. I know I've mentioned building can't, I know you've mentioned building can't believe everything you read on Google. So am praying this info is incorrect. Any thoughts, Dave? Hope your Christmas was blessed. Yeah, if you have even hernias can be benefited if done properly with the Cellerciser. There's different approaches that you can take. Feel free to give me a call. I'd love to share some of the approaches you can consult and talk to your doctor with. Zara writes, what time gap should be given after a meal before Cellercising? Well, you can Cellercise right after a meal. Just don't do anything too bouncing up and down hard, because yes, then that food and those acids can be banging up against that sphincter muscle. And if you have a weak muscle there, by the way, Cellercise, it's a muscle. What happens when you put weight on a muscle over and over? How do you strengthen the sphincter muscle, whether it's for bladder control or in your gut? Cellercise. It's weight bearing. And with resistance, that's how the muscles get stronger. And as far as after meal, just don't do the high jumping. But doctors will tell you, going on a walk, in Cellercise, I believe, is more effective than that. After a big meal is really a good idea. It's a good idea. We have more heart attacks during the holidays because people eat a great big meal and often they just go sit down on the couch, and that's when they get the heart attack because all the blood rushes down there, and that's not good. And I know this is stereotyped, and I think I've talked about it before, but we often think of men, they eat the big meal and they go sit down, they consult or watch a show or a game, and the women are in the kitchen and they're washing dishes, and I know that's very stereotyped. We don't do that in my house. I'm washing dishes too. But what was learned from that is that the women didn't get the heart attacks like the men did. The ones that went just sat out. It's because they were moving around. So some of that movement afterwards is really good for all of us. So women, tell your husbands if they don't right now, hey, help with the kitchen. Let's get this dishes done. Let's get some movement. All right. It's healthy. Laura writes, Dave, how can I get the springs reattached to the mat? This happens when I unfold the trifold at the hotel. Thanks. And if the spring came off, I see a picture of it. It looks like you just need to pull it back up. Just fold it back up, and it's the little bar, we call it the bullhorn, that came out. And just take the bullhorn out completely. Reattach it through the tabs. You got to push, pull, push, pull, push, pull on the tabs. And then I show you how to reattach a spring very easily using a Phillips screwdriver on our website. Trifolds are unique in that when they are folded up, there is no stress on the springs at all. And so when they're bouncing around, it's possible for a spring to get, it's not seated properly. So when you open it up, it's a good idea on a trifold, especially when they're brand new. As you're opening it up, check the springs to see that they're seated properly. Give them a little tug. Just reach behind the spring and pull them toward you, and they'll pop right into place. And if you forget, generally when you open it up and you jump on it, you'll hear a pop, pop, pop. Well, they're seating themselves anyway. When the units are brand new, that can occur. After they've broken in, it really rarely, if ever, will happen. My unit in my office, just like this one, it's over 21 years old now. And we use it every day. That's what we work on. And there's no difference, or they're just the same. But it doesn't, everything seats properly, everything's smooth, and yours, the trifold, will get that way too. Okay, so I had a chance to talk to Gwen earlier today. She's a remarkable person. One of our Cellercise family members has a great insights into the Cellerciser and how it affects the body physically and mentally. And it's a joy when she calls because we have a chance to talk about some of this. And I said, you have such a good perspective. Would you write and share some of your story with me? Because she just had another incident where she hurt her wrist and did the Cellercising and just had some great experiences. That Cellerciser has rebuilt this body many times. But she writes, Hi Dave, I just wanted to share with you yet another benefit of my Cellerciser. I've had it for about 5 years now and work out on it or play in on it regularly. I usually do a pretty intense daily workout complete with the Jamba run, side kick, back kick, front kick, etc. for 20 to 30 minutes. However, recently, I fell from a 3.5-foot height and couldn't do my regular workout. I didn't want to stop altogether, so I bumped back to a baby bounce for 10 to 15 minutes. I didn't really think it was going to do that much good because I wasn't sweating, lots of laugh, but I did it anyway. I want to comment on that. Sweating has little or nothing to do with exercise, other than your body is overheating. And so the body is cooling itself down, which is the purpose behind the sweating. You can get all the exercise you need without sweating. And I'm not saying sweating is bad for you or good for you. Just, we often think that if you're not sweating, you're not getting exercise. I rarely sweat when I Cellercise at all. And yet, pretty good shape, and that Cellerciser has helped me keep there. And again, sweating just means your body's overheating, so it needs to sweat. So what I learned is this: we don't always have to push the body to get results. Even though the body is resilient and it can endure a lot, doesn't mean that pushing it is the optimum way for optimum results. Just doing the baby bounces made me feel so good. It's calmed my mental activity down and makes me feel like I'm in better alignment on all domains: physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. Balance. When you've seen me do the strength and balance test on YouTube, you can look that up. It's real. When a person gets on a Cellerciser, or we can test them in their strength and balance before they get on a Cellerciser, if they've never been on or if they don't do one, and they fall right over. They got all these imbalances in the body, which over time, accumulatively, will affect our overall health and performance. We want to get rid of those imbalances. We get on a Cellerciser 3 to 5 minutes, and we test them again. They're very strong. They're very balanced. Well, if it's creating that kind of physical balance, what is it doing chemically with the body as we move up and down? And we're stimulating the thyroid, the adrenals, the entire endocrine system. We don't know. We need to look. How's that balancing the blood sugars in diabetes? Balance is what Cellercise is all about. And she's right. Says, I love my Cellerciser, but I feel like I found a new friend. I'm consistently learning something new about the benefits of Cellercising, and this is my favorite lesson to date. Thank you for a wonderful piece of equipment that is helping me reach my goals for optimum health and wellness. Gwen. Thank you, Gwen, for sharing that. So let's talk about the most important movement that the rebound industry really has to offer. And if you do nothing more than this, I believe the quality of life we have, our balance, our equilibrium, our strength, our flexibility is all going to be improved substantially by this one program. And it's something we instinctively do with babies the moment that a baby is born, is we'll take a baby, and if they're fussy, parents instinctively, we want to help the baby. We gently bounce up and down. The baby loves it. They love the movement. There's something behind that. Okay, we learn a lot from children. So when we get on the Cellerciser, most important movement, just bouncing up and down just like this. Try it. If you've got your Cellerciser, join me for a moment. Get on that Cellerciser. I want you to take your fingers, and I want you to grab these trapezius muscles up here with your fingertips. These muscles help hold up our posture. The skeletal system can't support itself, but it's also where we get a lot of stress and tension. So holding on to these muscles with your fingers, I want you to bounce up and down. And you can feel the resistance, the weight that's on those muscles just by bouncing this high. It doesn't take a lot of high jumping at all, but those muscles are flexing over 100 times a minute. Take your hands, grab the deltoids. Just grab those shoulder muscles, squeeze them with your fingertips so you're holding on to them. Now bounce up and down. Can you feel the weight? It's not a little bit, it's a lot. That weight is almost identical from the top of your head all the way down to the bottom of your foot. Why? Because you are decelerating and accelerating through the entire body. It's G-forces. You would think, well, I can understand why it would be more on the legs. It isn't. You just felt the top part of your body. Yeah, you can feel your legs. You can grab the muscles of the legs too. Every cell membrane, grab your stomach muscles. Squeeze them with your fingertips. Bounce up and down. Dig in with your fingers. You're going to feel the stomach muscles expanding and contracting. grab the biceps, bounce up and down. You can see the weight is everywhere. It's through the entire body. It's not just one part of the body, but it's in a balanced state. So everything is moving up and down equally. So if you have imbalances in the body, your hips are out of alignment a little bit, but you start to move up and down, the hips can drop, muscles can stretch and move. This is why I love working with chiropractors. Chiropractors are great. And so many of our physical health problems come from misalignments in the back, no question. Chiropractors make adjustments. They're great, but the muscles are not used to the new alignment. So the chiropractors we work with, when appropriate, will have the patient get right on the Cellerciser and gently move up and down. So the muscles, through the adjustment that are not used to that new alignment, they flex around the alignment. And the body starts to become stronger. You begin to hold your posture more effectively. And of course, we've talked about nuances or different things you can do with the baby bounce, such as lift your chest up, roll your shoulders back, pull your chin in a little bit, and gently bounce up and down. So now you're working the posture. As you're working the posture, these muscles are now flexing around your proper alignment. And that's what we want. And I don't even know how many people have called me over the years to talk about how their posture's improved from Cellercising. But there's so much more to that baby bounce. You can tighten certain areas of your body. Want to tighten the stomach muscles? Go ahead and tighten the stomach muscles. You just tighten them while you're bouncing up and down, and keep them tight for a few moments. While you're bouncing up and down, you're going to feel them burning. And that, yeah, I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but it does help to strengthen the stomach muscles. So you just tighten them and bounce. Chest, same thing. Tighten your chest muscles while you're bouncing up and down. What you're doing is an isometric with an isotonic with more weight. So that helps to firm up the chest, men and women. All these protein fibers start to firm up. They get stronger. You can do the same thing with shoulders. You can do the same thing with the neck, with the face. You've seen me do the, what do we call it? Oh, we've got a name for it. I can't remember the name of it. Cellercise faceless is what it basically is. You smile with your cheeks. Smile with your cheeks. That holds the muscles in a certain position. While you bounce up and down, the skin and the collagen flex around that muscle, those muscles. That's great. What do you want to work on? You can work on different areas, all by doing the baby bounce. Now keep in mind, even though you're focusing on these different areas, the rest of the body is still involved anyway. Whether you want it to be or not, it's still working. The most important movement up and down. Okay, second reason why that's so important, the lymphatic system. Every day, the lymphatic system keeps us alive and healthy. We've all been exposed to heavy metals, toxins, poisons, preservatives, chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, formaldehydes, drugs, plastics are all around us. They accumulate within the body. What is that doing to our nervous system? What's it doing to different areas of our body? What's causing this increase, this huge increase in neuropathy and all these in chemicals and pesticides and everything? What's that doing as a cumulative effect in our bodies? We get on that Cellerciser, it's like taking a jar of water with a bunch of dirt clods in it. If all you do is walk around all day long and they accumulate, that's not too good. But the moment you move up and down, you start to break up the dirt clods. The Cellerciser has enough resistance on it that it can help dislodge a lot of those foreign particulates. So you're moving up and down, it's like an internal scrub brush within the body. Drink lots of water. Drink lots of water, because it helps to flush it out so it just doesn't deposit somewhere else. That's critical today. And we can do it every day. Every day we can put our body through a little internal scrub brush so we feel better. And our body parts and functions work more efficiently. Back flushing valves. Nobody's talked about this. It's something I introduced many years ago, but you have all these one-way valves in the lymphatic and circulatory systems. Hardening of the arteries is the #1 degenerative disease. As the arteries get harder and they lose flexibility and The blood cells get sticky, they can't circulate effectively, capillaries shrink, body functions get weaker, and we buy into that as part of the aging process. There are weaknesses in the body and in the circulatory systems often that's causing a good majority of those issues and problems. So when we're on the Cellerciser, and you've heard me talk about it, the blood cells have a sodium-potassium pump. They're positively and negatively charged like a battery. You move up and down, they expand and contract, they generate a field of energy that accumulates around the outside of the cell membrane. We can see it under something called Kirlian photography. That energy field, as it grows through the pumping action, as that energy field grows, it repels the cells, the blood cells from each other. They're no longer sticky, clumped together, deflated in a weakened condition. They become separated, oxygenated, energized, imbibed with more fluid. You're moving up and down. You're pumping with the heart. As you come up, those valves are shut. As you come up, the pressure on the top of the valve back flushes the valves, helping to open up the capillaries in the veins and blood vessels above it through the movement up and down. As you come down, they open up, and so you have this constant pumping action that's, like I said, it's like an internal scrub brush to open up circulatory channels, to break up sticky blood cells, to increase that oxygen blood flow to the brain, blood vessels to the eye, other body parts and extremities. As your cells are stronger, healthier, and working more efficiently, what's that going to do for your body? So important. So that movement up and down, for activating the lymphatic system, which holds a negative pressure, it's a vacuum system. However, if a unit is too soft, you don't get that kind of pumping or movement of the fluid in the lymph system. You have to have the resistance too. So as you're moving up and down, the resistance causes that expansion, and then as you come up, you're weightless, the lymphatic system can suck. It's expelling and sucking and moving the lymph fluid through the entire body, helping to pull that circulation between bones, joints, tissue spaces of the body. It's a vacuum system for the body. So important. Stress. Just this one movement, guys. Stress. Nobody likes that. If we get more stressed, and we've all been there, how can we not be in the world today? I mean, there's always something. It just is. But we can help reduce that stress and that tension by simply getting on the Cellerciser and moving up and down. Again, we do it with babies when they're fussy. It relaxes them. We're too big to be put over somebody's shoulder, but we can all get on a Cellerciser and gently bounce up and down. And as we do it, technique, if you take your fingers, put them straight down, bounce up and down until you can feel the pressure at the tips of your finger. Just may take a moment, but the moment you feel the pressure at the tips of your finger, then relax your shoulders, back, and buttocks. And that is, it's a massage. I mean, again, you can feel these muscles. You're massaging every part of your body. It's very gentle. But as you break up the stress and the tension, you open up the circulation, do this for a minute to 2 minutes before you go to sleep at night. Just don't fall off. Just get really relaxed and just breathe and enjoy it. And that movement right there is going to help, and has helped a great many people be able to sleep better and get rid of that stress and tension. The caretakers, people that are working to take care of other people, I've been there. The Cellerciser, it can be a lifesaver. It can help so much with that increase of circulation. I mean, again, you're moving up and down many times per minute. Balance and equilibrium, how do we get it? We're not born with it. We have to challenge our balance mechanism. It's that movement up and down. That is moving fluid past the stirrup, the smallest bone of our ear representing our vestibular balance, but it's also challenging brain activity, proprioceptors, nervous system, muscles throughout the entire body. So babies stand up in the crib, they hold on to the bar of the crib, and they bounce. You know, they bounce up and down. We stand on a Cellerciser, and we bounce up and down. And as we're bouncing up and down, that movement up and down is challenging our balance and equilibrium at any age. And we can do different movements as well to help with proprioception, but it's the movement up and down that's the most important. edema, swelling, varicose veins, poor circulation. Weakest area of circulation in the body is in the lower extremities. That's the furthest area from the heart. So we get on a Cellerciser and we start to move up and down. We're pumping with the heart. When we lift our heels up and down, it pumps the calf muscle. The calf muscle flexes. It helps to feed that circulation back up to the heart. So we can help improve circulation in the lower extremities. Yes, Justice?
Sarah says, hi Dave, can rebounding aggravate carpal tunnel?
Not likely, but it can expose it. So if you have a weakness, it's not going to create a problem with carpal tunnel, other than expose something that may be already there. And then the moving up and down on the Cellerciser is going to increase the circulation, and it can help promote strength in that area. So it's a part of the healing process. Yes, Justice?
And could I also trigger BPPV?
Trigger what?
BPPV?
Hmm?
I can Google it.
Yeah, you can do that. It creates balance. So can it aggregate BPPV, which is, I'm thinking that might be, I could be wrong, bipolar type situation, but it creates chemical and physical balance. You look at kids when they're bouncing up and down on a couch or a bed, they're having fun. They're enjoying life. It can help increase endorphins. It can help increase oxygen and blood flow. It can help increase and improve balance within the body. How many kids are bouncing up and down on a couch or a bed that are angry and upset versus how much fun they're having? It's fun. Yes, Justice?
It's binging positional vertigo. It is a common
Oh, vertigo. Yeah, vertigo. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. If you have a situation with vertigo, it can challenge the vertigo. I haven't known personally anybody, including my wife, who after a month of Cellercising didn't have remarkable improvement. So there's crystals in the ear. There's fluid moving up and down. When we get out of balance, is not a comfortable feeling. The brain, as we live a horizontal existence all day long, the brain can settle in the skull, it drops. And all of a sudden we move up and down. Well, that brain starts to move up and down too. It can take 2 to 3 weeks for the connective tissue surrounding the brain, as well as internal organs, to firm up. So you're moving up and down. Everything is moving up and down with you, and those connective tissues are starting to firm up. It's one of the reasons boxers do a lot of jump roping. They need to have the connective tissues hold the brain in place, so when they get hit in the head hard, the brain doesn't crash against the skull, causing a knockout. Well, you don't have to hit a hard surface or do it on the ground. You can actually jump rope on a Cellerciser. You'll get an incredible workout. But it's the moving up and down that helps within weeks to strengthen those connective tissues, help crystals move in the ear, and challenge synaptic neuron processes within the brain to adapt so that we have better balance, because we're going to challenge it. But if you're in a weakened position and you're not comfortable standing on a Cellerciser doing that, you can actually sit down on the Cellerciser. And when you sit down, you can grab the balance bar on both sides. They have a rubber handle, and you can bounce yourself just like this. And as you're bouncing up and down, you get a little dizzy. You've got the support on both sides of you as you challenge and stimulate that area of the body. To all of you who are part of the Cellercise family, I hope some of what I shared today has value. I hope you'll be able to share it with others. I think this thing has been called the closest thing to the fountain of youth yet devised by man. There's a great many things we can do with it, but we don't have to make it as hard as we do. We're the only species in the world that does that. We can have fun. That's why I say, why work out when you can play in? Play in it, play on it, and continue to experience the results. Share it with others. Let me know what I can do to help. Thank you. In 2 weeks, we'll have another program. Again, I appreciate all your comments, all your support. You're great, and you've made a difference in my life too. So I enjoy sharing with you. I hope you enjoy sharing with us as well. Thank you. You are the difference. You make a difference. Have a great next 2 weeks, and Happy New Year. We'll see you soon.